I'm coming for all of you. Right now, there's a 15-year-old sophomore in high school who has no idea they're studying nursing just so they can wipe my ass in 17 years. I'm 50 and single. That's a fantastic combination. I'm going to spend my golden years dating a handful of spit and a jug of Astroglide.
Hey, what's happening, Mike Schmidt, 40-year-old boy podcast. Look at that, smoothly rolling off the tongue as if I've been saying it for 10 years, which I have. And you guys listened to it for over 10 years and thought to yourself, I love the way he opens this show with that, hey there, what's happening, Mike Schmidt thing. But is that how I open it? Hey there? No, it's a, hey, what's happening? There's no there in there. I literally, in 9 seconds, I forgot how I opened the show for 10 years. And telling you how much you listen to it and how much you enjoy it and imitating you enjoying it, I went ahead and screwed it up by throwing a there in there. And as Gertrude Stein will tell you, there is no there. I don't know why I would put it in there. Friends of mine in Oakland. I've been to Oakland. I liked it. I enjoyed Oakland. I rode the BART through Oakland and looked out at the rubble and thought to myself, someday this hellscape we call Earth is going to look like Oakland. Oakland's just ahead of the curve, man. It's not a hole. Oakland's not a place that's been destroyed. Oakland's not a place that's just waiting for a bulldozer. No, not at all. Oakland's just ahead of the curve, man. Oakland knows what the rest of the world's going to look like soon enough. Right? Today was fun. It's Wednesday. And I think we all know what happened today. I'm not going to go into it because you know what? I did last week's show and people were very nice. They responded to me and they said, hey, this is cool. I'm glad you're talking like this and let your hands go. And everybody's very nice to me and saying things like that. And I appreciate it. Thank you. And I need to learn to do that more often. However, I will tell you this. For some reason, last week's show didn't fix the world. I thought it would. I don't know what I was thinking by throwing it out there. I thought for sure it was going to go ahead and plant a flag and everybody's going to fucking, teach the world to sing and then buy the world a Coke and hold hands and then have hands across America and Ken Kragen would get involved and he would manage Lionel Richie who would write a tribute song and then do a new We Are the World and then I'm Not Going to Play Sun City and all those motherfuckers would come together. All those ancient dudes. Let's think about that now. Who would do the We Are the World now? It would just be Future mumbling, and then nobody else know what to say. Kendrick Lamar would be awesome, and then Kanye West would fuck it all up. Jeez, who the fuck would do We Are the World now? I'm casting it. That's it. That's my new goal. I need to have a new that. And Sun City, is Sun City even a thing anymore? Does South Africa? I mean, it still exists, right? But I mean, are we still mad at them? Is there still apartheid? I should probably read up on these other parts of the country since I'm fucking moving soon. Because why would I stick around here for the fucking death rattle, right? Why would I stay here? I'm not joking. I literally today. I thought to myself, I'm like, well, Canada is a nice place. Like, I've been there and I kind of liked it. You know what I mean? I mean, and I understand Vancouver's warm. I haven't been yet. But I liked Canada. But also, it's not even about Canada. It's not even about getting out of here, really. It's about hiding. I just want to go to the woods. That's all I want to do. Let's do that, folks. Let's get together, all of us, me and you, and your families, if you care about them, or if you don't, leave them behind and let them suffer. That's fine. I just need a community. I need a commune. I need a fucking what was that show on HBO? The Leftovers. I need you guys to be my leftovers. That's what I need. Let's all go be leftovers somewhere in a fucking in a town. I just saw that Nazis are taking over a town in North Dakota, and like the governor, or not the governor, like the mayor of the town is like, hey, maybe we should just disband as a town so the Nazis don't gain a foothold. Like he totally fucking Neville Chamberlain to the entire city, where he's like, yeah, maybe this is, the Nazis are here, and I don't want to deal with this, so why don't we just fucking go ahead and strip the city constitution and turn this place into just a fucking burnt plot of land, and they're not going to want to take over. Now, there's a good chance I have some of the facts wrong in that story because I only read a couple of headlines. However, that's my guess about what's happening. But we can do that. We're not Nazis, but we can go take over a town. Let's take over a town. What could we call it? We would name it Jokerville. Let's do that. Let's call it, because the fan club's called the West Side 86 Jokers. Or we can just call it the West Side. Let's go to West Side 86 or the 86ers, 86ville. I don't fucking know. There's not a lot of permutations to take out of West Side 86 Jokers. We could just call it town. Who the fuck cares, man? We don't need to have a fancy name. We don't need to have everybody on board by luring them in with some sort of baubles and doodads and garishness. Although you know what, bullshit, I take it back. We need garishness. We must have garishness in my town. All of us will be festooned in colorful robes. I'm already instituting laws and rules. I was just saying we should all go there to hide, and now here I am putting down a constitution involving colorful robes. Why would I do something like that? I'm stomping on this idea before it even comes to fruition. I refuse. You can wear whatever you want in my town, man. You can wear whatever you want in my... you can wear what you ever want in my little town. You can wear whatever you want when you're in my little town. How about that? That's much better. The second take's always better than the first take. Thank you. I appreciate that. I get to tell my engineer, give him a nod. But let's do it, man. Let's just fucking disappear. Let's roll. Let's just go somewhere. And I mean, you know, like I said, individuals, families, I don't care. We can all go together. That's one of the things I like about Walking Dead. I'll be honest with you. When I watch those shows, I don't like zombies, and I don't like the thought of fighting off zombies, and I don't like the fact that everybody is a psychopath. Literally, everyone is somebody stepping on their toe away from murdering 18 people, and I get that. They're all a little tense. There's a zombie apocalypse afoot, and these people are thinking to themselves, well, fuck, we got to do whatever we can. Now, I will tell you this. If there's a zombie apocalypse, I recognize the attitude that you need to have, and I want you to kill everybody. The only fucking smart guy in Walking Dead was Shane. If you saw year one, Shane was, I mean, first of all, he banged Rick's wife, which is not a good thing to do, but he thought Rick was fucked up. Rick was in a fucking coma or whatever the fuck in the hospital, and Shane's like, well, you know what, I'm going to go fucking claim the wife. I mean, why not? He's going to plant a flag. Look, if your best friend was in a coma, he was fucking wiped the fuck out, and they're like, he's a vegetable, man, he's never going to recover. Isn't the first thing you do think about fucking his wife? Isn't that what you would do because you're a terrible person? All right, look, Shane's a bad guy. I get that. Shane was a bad guy in the real world. However, when the zombies came, Shane's the guy you want to have on your side. That was an awkward pause. Shane is the guy you want to have. Shane's the guy you need. The guy who puts a bullet in the little kid's head when she wanders out of the barn. Spoiler alert. If you haven't seen year fucking 2 of it, believe me. I'll tell you what. Year 2, they're on a farm. I think it's year 2, season 2, whatever the fuck. They're literally on the Walking Dead people are on a farm. They live on this farm, and they talk about zombies the entire time. I think we see 5 zombies the entire season. And these people just talk about peaches and rice, and then Carl gets shot in the face, I believe, and then a little girl disappears, and they look for, and this is not an exaggeration, they look for 5 fucking weeks. 5 episodes. They're just outside going, Sophia. They're just yelling a girl's name. That's the whole show. And then they stumble upon like a wolf zombie or whatever the fuck, and they're trying to find this little girl. And then finally, it turns out that the farmers have not told them that they've been storing all of the zombies in a barn. Because everybody's like, hey, man, there have been a lot of zombies around here. They're like, yeah, no, it's a peaceful farm. We totally dig it. They're like, well, what's in the barn? They're like, don't go in the barn. Well, why not? Well, we just, we're not comfortable with strangers being in our barn. Well, you know why? Because it's fucking floor to ceiling stuffed with the Walking Dead, with zombies. That's where they live. They live in the barn. It's a zombie barn. It's a dead house. It's stuffed to the gills with flesh and moans. That's not good. But sure enough, somebody fucking flips the lock, and then all the zombies come pouring out of there, and guess who comes out? Sophia, the little girl they've been looking for 5 fucking weeks. But the thing is, she's not Sophia anymore, because again, I got news for you. If you're trapped in a barn with the living dead, eventually someone's going to take a nip out of you, and you're going to flip on the whole thing. I can't believe they didn't bite the fuck out of her, right? How does a little girl survive and still be cute? She was a cute zombie. She wandered out of there, she's still like, tee-hee, look at me and my pigtails, or whatever the fuck. And everybody's just like, okay, I'm buying this. She's a little kid zombie. How sad and terrible. And yet, it's something that we should all go ahead and mourn for. No, dude. If you're a zombie and you see like a little kid, like that's like just a fucking snack. Like because again, they eat flesh. So somebody had to bite her. Like a zombie had to bite her at some point. Some people get torn apart and eaten, but then some people just get, bitten on the shoulder and then they turn into zombies before the zombies get to eat them? So Sophia got, you're expecting me to believe that like a 6-year-old girl got bitten by the zombies? And then, hold on. Oh man. I think I inhaled some flesh. I may have inhaled some zombie flesh, or perhaps a spirit of a zombie went inside me. You heard it catch in my throat, didn't you? See, that's the disadvantage of taking huge gulps of air when you're trying to talk into a microphone. You're just like, knock back. All of a sudden you inhale a fucking moth the size of a fucking model airplane, and then you got to cough it out in the air. But Sophia wanders out, and she's cute, and everybody's like, oh, look at Sophia. We've been looking for her forever. But they're also kind of sad and stunned because they're like, well, if she was in the barn, that means she's probably a zombie and she's dead. And all of them are sitting there they don't know what the fuck to do. You know who knows what to do? Fucking Shane. Shane took 5 seconds off from fucking Rick's wife to put 3 bullets in Sophia's head. Boom, boom, boom. And that might be 3 more than I'm thinking. I think I'm going to just one shot. Because I think for drama, he put one like right between her eyes or something like that. And he dropped her. And then here's the worst part. Okay, she's a zombie. Everybody comes walking out, and they're like, "Oh my god, it's all the zombies in the barn. It's a fucking apocalypse rage, and they're killing everybody." But then Sophia wanders out again. She's like, "Haha, it's me, the little girl you've been looking for." Is it? You know, she's like, "Ali, Ali, Oxenfree, 10-9-8-7-6-5-4-3-2-1. Everybody come and get me." And then she wanders out. She's been playing hide and seek in the fucking dead barn for months. And then she wanders out, and everybody's like, "Oh, it's Sophia. Let's kill all these zombies and then save her." Not realizing that she's been bitten at least once, probably twice, and maybe 1,000 fucking times. But Shane, he knows what to do. He steps the fuck up, and he's like, "Ha-ha," pulls out the gun, does a little spinneroo, boom, one right between the eyes, and drops her. And then everybody is sad. And they expected the viewers to be sad. You expect me to empathize with a fucking little girl zombie? Dude, she's there to bite people. Did you see Night of the Living Dead? You never trust the living girl zombies. Fuck Walking Dead. Go back to Night of the Living Dead. The original movie, 1968, the fucking black and white. And tell me what little girl zombies do. You know what they do? They kill their mom with a garden trowel, and then they bite them, they try to attack the black guy. That's what always happens with little girl zombies. And we know that the little girl zombie in Walking Dead, Sophia, had been in the barn. So you know she's got a garden trowel when she wanders out of there. She's just looking for her mom so she can plunge a couple into her gut and then eat her before the black guy steps up and gets attacked. Shane's like, "Fuck that. I saw that movie in 1968. Boom! Puts one right in her head and drops her on the ground." But then everybody's sad. Boo-hoo. Oh, we've been looking for her for 5 weeks. I can't believe it. And then they're all mad at Shane. "Shane, I can't believe you shot the little girl." She's not a little girl at that point. She's a killing machine. She's just fucking wild eyes and gnashing teeth. That's all she is at that point. Drop her. Lay her the fuck out. Turn her into dust. Fucking bullet salad for that chick. Lay her the fuck down. Lead sandwich. Have a seat. Fuck you, Sophia. 5-year-old zombie. You're not cute anymore. Pigtails and a stuffed animal. You've been in there fucking, crowd surfing on top of zombies for a month in a barn. And then, look, that's on the guys who own the fucking, the farm. Because they locked everybody in there. And they probably should have went, "Hey, Sophia, you in here?" Before they herded all of the zombies in there. You think they would have checked underneath every haystack and at least up in the loft. And just been like, "Hey, Sophia, you wouldn't happen to be in here, would you?" Before they locked a small town's worth of zombies into the goddamn barn. How do we spin off into that fucking stuff? Well, still, the point is, here's the thing. If there's a zombie apocalypse, let's kill everybody. I understand that. And so that's why I'm saying Shane was the only guy to trust. He shot the little girl. And everybody's like, "Oh my God, Shane's kind of a dick." No. Shane just saved you from death by kid bite. And nobody wants that. Nobody wants to get chomped up by a fucking little kid zombie, because that's got to be embarrassing as fuck. You know, like sometimes on The Walking Dead, the guy will be walking through the pathway, and then there's like half a zombie on the ground with just like an arm and a foot, and then it just winds up chomping some guy in the ankle, and then he turns into a zombie. He's got to be just the most. If he turns into a zombie, he has to still think to himself, "Man, this is fucked. Like I literally just got chomped in fucking half by some goddamn my left foot Daniel Christie goddamn painting fucking zombie, and they flipped me. I got bit by the my left foot zombie. That's just the worst zombie to be bitten by." So, but little kid zombie right up there in the top 10 of worst zombies to be bitten by. Half a zombie's bad, but a little kid zombie, because then that just speaks to you. Because you're like, you fell for it. Like, it's like, and I know it's supposed to speak to a larger thing of like, well, we need to be civil and we need to understand the world. And you know what? She's a little girl and she's so sweet, and maybe she isn't really a zombie, and somehow we could fix her at some point. You can't fix her. You can't fucking fix her. She's already eaten 3 dudes. She's got a belly full of dude. You want to, and look, and not like in the porn fashion, man. Because she's 6, man. That's gross to think about that. How wrong? How dare you? How dare you even go that direction? How dare you put this little girl in a porn hub? No. She's biting dudes and chewing them up. She's got fucking bellyfuls of arms. Bellies? She got several bellies. She was in the barn. She might have gone cow on you. She might have got 3 stomachs. She might have fucking chewed up these dudes and then stored them all in 3 goddamn stomachs. Maybe when they opened the barn, if the only person who walked out is Sophia and then it was just bones, dude, she'd be like the fucking killer rabbit in Monty Python and the Holy Grail. They just open it up. They're like, "Oh, dude, it's fucking rabbit. It's the night of the Lepus. It's going to come out." And there's some, the enchanter Tim. He knows what the fuck to do. He's the Shane of Monty Python and the Holy Grail. He just fucking goes, "All right, we got to kill this fucking rabbit. Nasty, pointy teeth." What an eccentric performance. Graham Chapman, underrated genius. So if we have a town, I guess my point is, if we all get together and we have a town, folks, we need a Shane. I don't think I have the stomach to be a Shane. And so I don't want our town to turn into a Walking Dead town, because in The Walking Dead, it always turns out that there's like, everybody's pretending like they're happy and they're planting herbs. That's the thing that always cracks me up. They're like, all right, we need to have a semblance of humanity. Let's all plant rosemary and sage. No, let's not. Let's read books and at least talk about the fact that we are never more than a stone's throw away from death by the mouth of a fucking corpse. There are corpses just outside the wall who would happily tunnel underneath and bite us in the ball sack if we let them. And not even the ball sack. They didn't even go for the weak part. They bite your fucking neck. They bite your arms. They bite your nipples. They bite all of it. I don't know why nipples and ball sack came to mind, because they seem like sensitive areas. Certainly in the time of a zombie apocalypse, you got to buy a cup and you got to buy a bra. That's what you got to do. Even the dudes, go ahead and wear like some kind of, just buy chainmail. Just do that. Just fucking make some chainmail up. If there's a fucking zombie apocalypse, you got to go to a museum and steal all the fucking weapons and get chainmail, because everything's getting thrown back. Look, guns are handy. Certainly we need guns. And you know who proved that? Fucking Shane. You're goddamn right. He put one in Sophia's head and fucking saved the day. And everybody else went, boo, Shane. What do you mean, boo, Shane? He just saved everybody by getting Sophia out of the way. That was a little weird, like fucking... This is what happens when you're just talking off the top of your head. All right, so here's the deal. My point is we need to run away, folks. We need to run away together, all of us. Let's just be my leftovers. That's what I ask. Let's go have a town somewhere. We'll try to find somewhere with a good climate. I mentioned Canada. And that's because I think that this country is going to be a firestorm eventually, and it's not going to find its way up to Canada, because Canada's going to build a fucking wall before anybody else does at this point, because the way things are going. If I was Canada, I'd build a stealth wall. Just like, don't even tell anybody. Like, what if all of a sudden, you guys live in Buffalo or whatever the fuck, or like in Detroit, if you just looked across the river and you just saw in Windsor just construction starting, and you're like, well, what the hell's going on over there? They building a skyscraper, and all of a sudden it was just like a wall in 3 months. You'd be like, holy shit, Canada, how do you steal our idea and keep us out of there? Because, man, we got to tunnel over and get over there and fucking claim our plot of land. And look, I've already got a foothold in Canada. I've got some fans up there, not even fans, friends. I got Ken, I got John, I got all sorts of other people. I got Tanya and Mike. My great fear is, these people are coming to Cincinnati to see me, and I hope that Canada doesn't shut the borders out and build the wall over the weekend, because they'll never get back in. I need them on the ground. I need them for doing recon. They got to go ahead and find a plot of land that all of us can go to, so our leftovers, because again, it's foolish for me to name the town after myself. I'm not going to do that. We're all in this together. So that's why I said Jokerville or Jokertown or Jokersburg, whatever the fuck we want to call it. And let's, some of us will learn to shoot. Ken and I and Tanya's actually a better axe thrower than any of us. She was fucking throwing axes like a genius. And so we'll all do that. We'll just go up to Canada. We'll throw axes. We'll get a small town. We'll make fucking syrup. We'll read together at night. We'll build fires and we'll talk and we'll laugh and we'll just listen to the fucking woods. We'll have a fire pit and we'll tell stories of the way things used to be in the world. And we won't even realize that the thing is burning down. It'll just burn down without us caring. It'll be like that thing, if you ever saw, well, no, you didn't see Near Dark. Fuck, did you? I don't want to spoil Near Dark. Like, I'm really on the fence about spoiling Near Dark. I really want to. It would be like any movie where, like Thelma and Louise. We'll fucking just go with that route, where it's just two chicks and they go, you know what? I'm going to fuck Brad Pitt and drive off a cliff. I mean, there's no better ending than that. You know what? Fuck that. Fuck my town. I'm doing that. I'm making that happen. I'm going to fuck Brad Pitt and drive off a cliff. Who wants to hold my hand? That's all I got to ask you. I'm going to fuck Brad Pitt and drive off a cliff. Among you, who out there wants to hold my hand? And perhaps you all want to hold my hand and we get back to Craig and we get the fucking Hands Across America. Let's all fuck Brad Pitt and let's all jump off a cliff. How about that? That'll be a tired dude, Brad Pitt. By the way, they just put out a fucking Once Upon a Time in Hollywood, which is going to be fucking Tarantino's next movie, the Manson movie, with DiCaprio and Brad Pitt. And they put out the fucking the first photo from it. Dude, Brad Pitt is just... He's just Robert Redford. I mean, he's just turning into Robert Redford more and more and more. He's got, in this picture, he's just wearing all denim and he's just kind of dressed like, 1969. And oh man, he just looks like Redford. It's fantastic. And I guarantee Brad Pitt would put one in Sophia's head. But let's fuck him and jump off a cliff. What do you say, right? Drive off a cliff? I don't know if we have a vehicle that'll fit all of us as we all bang Brad Pitt and then drive off a goddamn cliff. But we just need to escape, folks. We need to get out. We need to fucking Rupert Holmes it. Because we like pina coladas and getting caught in the rain. Let's just go up north. We're not much into health food, but we are into champagne. We do like making love at midnight in the dunes of the Cape. So just go ahead and meet me at the Canadian border. Come with me and we'll escape. How about that? We could live together, right? We could be friends and family. Let's just open a bed and breakfast. That's all I need. And you know what? I'll be honest with you. I want all of you to come. That'll be fantastic. But if I could just find I'll find a hot girl. That's fine. I need a hot girl. Just some girl who likes me, who can tolerate me. I don't give a fuck. We'll build a bed and breakfast. and we'll be like the freaky, weird, hippie bed and breakfast people who can't keep their hands off one another. And I'll just I'll just eat your pussy in the morning, and you won't be able to walk. And then we'll get up, and I'll eat your pussy at night, and then you'll just be sleeping because you won't be able to walk. And in between, we'll just make pancakes for everybody. That's it. It's a bed and breakfast. We'll be in bed, and I'll just go down on you, and you won't be able to fucking move. And then we'll get up and make pancakes until it's dark, and then we'll go back to bed, and I will just put you to sleep, man. I will just rock you to fucking sleep with my face. God damn it. I just want to just do that. Let's escape. Let's get the fuck out of here. And I did. I thought, I was like, well, you know what? This show is going to really change everybody's minds. This is going to be the show that lands. It's going to go viral. People are going to listen, and it's going to make everybody go, you know what? People, now we got to smile on our brother. Let's love one another right now. And it didn't happen, man. I mean, some people reached out to me and were totally cool about it. That's fine. But then today everything fell apart, and that's fine. It's Wednesday, you know. I mean, that's just Wednesday in this country now. Hey, man, everything fell apart. Oh, what is it? Wednesday? Of course it is. I don't want to get into this. I don't want to talk too much about it. But I woke up at 11:15 because I've been driving pretty hardcore this week, and I woke up at 11:15. I grabbed my phone, and I check. I have notifications from people. I check those first, and then I went right to Twitter. And the first thing I saw was it just said, "Breaking: Justice Kennedy resigning from SCOTUS." And I laughed. I mean, I'm just naked in my bed laughing. I was like, of course. And it was that thing where, even a month ago, I probably would have just gone right back to sleep. I would have just been, you know what? I'm not going to the gym. I'm not doing it. I'm not self-caring anything at all. I'm just going to lay down and just fucking hope this passes. We'll see what happens. But not today, man. Fuck that. I got up. I was like, fuck this. And it just, because it's a joke now. It's just a fucking joke. It's so goofy. And so that's why we got to disappear together, folks. That's why we got to go get a fucking compound or anything we'll build a moat. We'll just do all these things. Let's go to Japan. Like, I'm not even kidding. Like, I sit here and I think of Japan and I go, man, I would live there. Like, I don't know any English, but I mean, I fucking loved it there. It's crazy expensive, but I fucking loved it there. I loved Canada. I loved being up there at Ken's house and just me, him, and John are out at the fire pit and talking and having a good time. And then when me and Ken and Suzanne were in the backyard talking and just, it was just... Yeah, and I don't know if I just need people. I don't know. Perhaps I need people here in California to talk to or hang out or a fire pit or whatever the fuck. I mean, I just, you miss fucking human connection sometimes. But if we all did it, if we all, how much human connection would it be if we got just like, I just need 100 of you guys. I don't, some of you are dissatisfied with your lives, but it's got to be an even split. I mean, I can't just have me and 100 dudes in the woods, because then we're a militia. Then we're not a community anymore. If it's just me and 100 dudes, then it turns into like a weird cult or a militia. And all of a sudden we're passing out Kool-Aid and we're wearing orange vests and we're trying to have free love, but there's no chicks, and that's a fucking mess. We can't do that. I need a clean split. I need a 50-50 of you guys between ladies. Well, no, it's got to be 51 because I'm one. So we got to go 51 ladies and 50. We got to go 51-50. Let's go escape mental patient into this whole fucking thing. We're going wide. We're running long. That's a lyric from 5150 High. Take the high. I can't do the song. All right, so I can't even hit the Sammy Hagar high note. The point is, folks, let's get together. Let's do this. Let's make it happen. Let's just fucking disappear. Because today, like I said, normally I would have just fucking tunneled under and said, yeah, I can't. And it was so funny because yesterday everybody was all happy because some 28-year-old lady won an election. Everybody's like, yeah. And then I woke up this morning and I saw that just huge double-sided axe swing of news, and I was just like, all right, well, whatever the fuck. Now it's just laughable. Now it's just like, all right, well, it's all burning the fuck down. Who the fuck cares? And I will say this. I don't, man, I need to hate more. I need more hate in me because, Trump is a fucking gas bag and he's a fucking dope. But man, that guy is relentless. That dude, he just runs on fucking sadness and tears or whatever the fuck, because he's, 72, 73? And he's out there giving these dopey talks off the top of his head that go fucking nowhere, which I can completely relate to. But then he's just constantly violently tweeting mean things in all caps, and he doesn't let up. He's a relentless monster machine of fucking ruining everything, and it's almost admirable. You just want to go, Jesus Christ, he's taking everything out in his path. He's just like a goodness thresher. You know what I mean? He's a happiness thresher. If there's anything happy or good or anybody's joyful, he just comes through and he just fucking savages it. And it's better to be joyful. That's the thing I decided this week, folks. I mean, last week I was frustrated. I puked it out, and it might come out on you again later or some other time. But don't you just want to be joyful? Don't you just want good things in your life? Don't you want to make sure that everything works out and you're happy? Because I'll tell you what, let's talk about things that make you happy. This should be a happy week. I want to talk about that. Although there are some things that didn't make me happy this week that I got to talk about. Shit, when should I talk about those? No, fuck. I'm talking about this because I have to talk about joy. Because I was trying to describe it. A listener named Michelle was in town, and she and I wound up having lunch, and I took her to the airport, and I was explaining to her. I was like, Did you see the James Corden Paul McCartney carpool karaoke viral video? And she's like, I didn't get to see it. I'm like, listen. I don't, whatever. I don't mean to be this guy, but you literally have to see it. And it's not even like, oh, it was good or oh, it was neat. You have to see it for your soul. You have to see it because it is so cleansing and so perfect and so great. And let's put it this way, it's good. Here's how good it is. It's really good even with James Corden in it. That tells you just how fucking magical it is. He didn't even ruin it. Normally carpool karaoke, like I haven't watched them. I know of them. I think I saw a couple of them. I didn't see the Foo Fighters one, but I think I saw Britney Spears maybe once or Miley Cyrus or whatever the fuck. But he does these all the time and they go viral. But, again, the problem is he's in them. So I can't, I don't tune in because I don't find him to be, someone I want to spend any time with. Unless, I'll tell you what, I'll fuck Brad Pitt and then I'll throw James Corden off of a cliff. Will that solve our problems? That might help us. And I don't know anything about him. I don't know. I know people who work for him who are great writers, and I follow them on Twitter. They're fantastic. Ian Carmel and people like that. So I don't want to cast any aspersions because who knows? I might run into this fucking guy someday. And that's really a weird thing to say. I know it sounds stupid, but I am out here and I'm a comedian, and I might meet comedians who work for him, and who the fuck knows? So I guess I shouldn't do this kind of thing. But yet at the same fucking time, I just don't find him to be anything. Like I just find him to be and he's literally a sigh in a suit. That's all he is. He's just, whenever you see him, it's just because because he looks like an infant, like he looks like a baby with 5 o'clock shadow, which is just creepy. And so it looks like they made him up to look like an adult. Like because honestly, he's in a suit. Okay, and we only see him in a suit most of the time because on his show he's in a goddamn suit. But he always looks to me like he should be in a Little Lord Fauntleroy suit. Do you know what that is? Like Richie Rich with the fucking short pants and like a little kind of a bow tie and like a real tight sailor suit. That's what he looks like to me. Because I have a picture of me when I was a baby and I was in a fucking sailor suit. I don't know if I ever posted this. He looks like a dude who should be in like a little baby Huey sailor suit, like all the time. He's just his face. And just him and who he is as a guy and the way, and again, this is my perception of him. But so I'm laying this groundwork because if that's my perception of him, you can imagine how shocked I was when I watched the Paul McCartney thing, because I'll tell you what, Paul McCartney is a guy, you have to watch him do anything at this point because he's going to be gone soon. If anything, we lost David Bowie, we lost Leonard Cohen, we lost Glenn Frey, we've lost so many fucking stars and so many brilliant superstars. And like I've said many times, the wrong people are dying. Absolutely, the wrong people are dying. We've got a whole cadre of people who should be fucking dying before these guys. But maybe they should be powered by hate. I don't know. Hate seems to be the thing that keeps people alive because they want to stay up and live long enough to see their fucking enemies be crushed and hear the lamentations of their fucking women. But yeah, man, fucking, you think to yourself that Paul McCartney could be gone someday, and it's like, because we've already lost, we lost John Lennon 1 billion years ago, and then we lost George Harrison, and I don't think anybody saw that coming, right? He I think he had cancer of the stealth, if I remember correctly. He had like whisper cancer, nobody knew it was coming, and then all of a sudden he was just gone. And Ringo's still here, but I mean, come on, it's Ringo. What the fuck? If Paul McCartney dies and then Ringo's still around, Ringo is, and I'm not fucking with Ringo. I've been told by people who know that Ringo was a good drummer. So I'm not shitting on him. And there's the silly things Bill Hicks said about him where he's the goof and they let him sing and all these different things. But clearly he doesn't have the charisma or the presence, the talent. I don't want to be that guy of Paul and John and George. But he had the funny name, and he's Ringo. So there you go. He's good. But so that's what I'm saying, though. He doesn't have the gravitas of Paul McCartney. Paul McCartney is a guy. Legend doesn't even do it justice. Because we have Mick and Keith still are also around with Charlie, and is Bill Wyman still alive? I think he is, although didn't he marry a 9-year-old or some shit? Actually, he married Sophia from The Walking Dead, and rightfully so, because when they opened that barn, the first zombie that staggered out was Bill fucking Wyman. Oh, Jesus Christ. Bill Wyman looks like Jamie Gumm's skin suit, but not on the fucking the sewing dummy. It looks like they hung it on a hanger. That's what fucking Bill Wyman looks like. He's just a fucking wraith. And then he married Sophia. And then, of course, fucking Shane puts a bullet in Sophia's head, and Bill Wyman is just like, no, because he played a bass. You have to, you got to punctuate your screams of anguish with the fucking bass when you're in the goddamn zombie apocalypse, particularly if you're Bill Wyman. Because you stagger out, everybody's like, kill that zombie. And he's like, no, it's me, Bill Wyman. So Bill Wyman, if there's a zombie apocalypse, carry a bass with you at all times, because otherwise Shane is going to put a bullet right in your goddamn old crepey skin head. Crepey skin is now, that's a thing that just showed up. I mean, I don't know if it was a term, or it was always a term in the medical books, but now there are shows on my television telling me how to avoid crepey skin. And I was in the store today, and Cosmopolitan was like, let's sex up your summer. And it said, here's a tips for your nipples. Well, what the fuck is that? I mean, I gave you a tip earlier. Always make sure you cover them up in a zombie apocalypse, because that's the first thing they bite. But to have, I don't know what Cosmo could be telling you, tips for your nipples. I mean, I don't know, shade them in with fucking rouge or something to make them look darker. I don't perk them up, put ice on them before a photo shoot. I couldn't tell you what nipple tips are. Oh my God, I just invented something. Hold on, nipple tips. That's got to be a thing, right? Doesn't it, you remember how you would have a pencil and you'd put a little guy on the eraser? And I was like, hey, who's that? The Crunchberry Beast? It is. And he's classing up my homework as I do with my math with the Crunchberry Beast on the end of my pencil. Well, we need nipple tips. We need little Crunchberry Beasts you can put on somebody's nipples. God damn, that's a perfect idea. Look at me inventing shit. Somebody call Spencer's Gifts and let's order a fuck ton of these goddamn things, and let's make some money so we can build a goddamn compound. Even if we build one cabin at first. We build one, I guarantee you, give me 5 of you. Give me 5 of you, we go up, we build one cabin. And by we, I mean the 5 of you build the cabin and I tell you where to put it. Let's do that. And then we'll build beds out of oak. And then eventually everybody else comes up, and then they sleep some in the cabin, and then we all roll out and we build this fucking, this total grouping. And then again, like I said, someone's going to have to grow sage, because that's what happens when you have an apocalypse of some kind, when you have your own fucking compound. It never ceases to amaze me whenever they're like, oh, we have a nice community here, and we have the governor who watches over us. Was that a tip for you guys, maybe? That he gave himself a nickname of the governor? Should that have been a thing that maybe alerted you to that he was going to be a fascist at some point and probably put some girl into an electric chair and dump water on her while he was shocking her? You should probably go ahead and look out for that. By the way, as bad as the governor was in the TV show, if he was really that bad, I recommend you read the comic book and see the governor. Because first of all, he didn't look like Johnny Jaw, who they cast to be the fucking governor in the goddamn Walking Dead television show. Oh no. He looked like... Boy, what did he look like? He had a mustache and really dark hair and an eye patch. And I think, if I remember correctly, he rapes Michonne with a table leg, if I remember correctly in the book. And if he didn't, well, perhaps that's just me creating a scenario that he should have done as the governor. That's not good. No, he does terrible things to Michonne, really bad. And, he's just a bad, in the TV show, they're like, ooh, booga booga, the governor is mean, he may shoot you. But in the book, there's a good chance the governor will feed you to his fucking wombats. I mean, he's like that kind of a crazy dude. He's using all sorts of rape and terrible things, and yet he still runs this community and everybody's thrilled. It's like Negan. I know everybody's scared of Negan, but at the same time, there's easily 100 people there. 5 good-sized people could take out Negan and shove that baseball bat right down his fucking throat and then pull out all of his internal organs attached to the goddamn barbed wire. And I love Negan in the TV show because I love Jeffrey Dean Morgan. So let's put it this way. I loved him in the beginning, but then the fact that just every single show, it was just him going, ooh, look at Rick, or whatever the fuck he was doing. And you're just like, oh man, look, I love Negan, and I don't like Rick, but at this point, somebody needs to put a fucking bullet in Negan. Where the fuck is Shane when you need him, goddammit? See? Shane wouldn't take that shit from Negan. Negan would show up and he'd be like, well, I tell you what, Rick, you know what? If the boy opens up his mouth, go ahead and cut off his eyes and feed him to his father. And then Shane would come in and kill all of Negan's men and make Negan watch because Shane was a fucking badass. But what did they do? They killed Shane, those dicks. And don't read the comic book. Fuck it. I'm going to spoil the comic book for you. Shane is the only one who survives the apocalypse. Literally, after a while, The Walking Dead, the comic book just becomes Shane. And it's just him wandering the countryside, shooting little girls in the head and making people moan and be sad. But he doesn't give a fuck. He's saving the world from chomping little girls, and I don't blame him. You want to be bitten by a little girl in the zombie apocalypse? Of course you don't. We've talked about this earlier. So my point is, come with me to Canada or somewhere and let's build a compound and let's hide from everything. And you know what we'll do? We'll go up there and we'll just watch Paul McCartney on a loop. All the things Paul McCartney's ever done. I mean, the Beatles alone, because I talked to someone and he was like, no, I apologize. It was my trainer, John. He goes, I have a friend. I don't know if he's trolling or whatever. He goes, he just, he hates the Beatles. And I just, in my head, I'm like, look, man, I understand that's some fucking, dead Kennedy's Black Flag bullshit you wanted to say at one point because you were trying to impress people. But if you like music, if you like anything, if you like life, if you like breathing, you like the Beatles. Now, look, I'm not talking about like Rocky Raccoon and all that bullshit, but it doesn't fucking matter. Their stuff is so perfectly crafted, and yes, they stole it from Chuck Berry, whoever the fuck. Like just like Elvis, they had 9 black guys in a basement. They stole all their mojo with spaghetti strainer, weird science, fucking computer programs, and there was lightning and thunder. And the next thing you know, they're a good band with a lot of swing and a lot of rhythm. And unfortunately, there's a bunch of torn up clippings of the ink spots on the ground, so there's nothing they can do about it. But You have to love what they did, what they've done, who they are. They're just magic. The Beatles are fucking magic. Sgt. Pepper's magic. A Day in the Life is fucking magic, man. Rubber Soul is magic. Jesus Christ, Norwegian Wood is magic. And the early stuff, fucking Hard Day's Night, all this at the fucking no clang. God damn, all of it. Except Rocky Raccoon. Again, we can all agree that that's not good. And Maxwell's Silver Hammer, which I can tolerate Maxwell's Silver Hammer, Bang Bang, but it's not my favorite. It's not on the top 10. It's not on my top 10 list. But then watching Paul McCartney, because again, like I said, they're geniuses. They've been around forever. They're brilliants incarnate. And it's funny because my friend asked me, he's like, who do you like, Beatles or Stones? Beatles or Stones? Beatles or Stones? He was being very pushy. Beatles or Stones? Beatles or Stones? Beatles or Stones? I mean, of those two, as much as I love Street Fighting Man, which is, my favorite Stone song besides fucking Time, Waits for No One, and It Won't Wait for Me. Those are phenomenal songs. And You Can't Always Get What You Want, which is a goddamn brilliant song. It's just genius. And Out of Time. Oh my God, how great is that song by the Stones? Baby, 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 you're out of time. I'm so bad. What if I just badly karaoke'd fucking songs? What if Corden's got to get me in a car? Get me in a car and I'll just do fucking Schmitty karaoke and I'll ruin everything. But I'll tell you what, I'll make the general public love Corden. I'll tell you that. Bring me in to fucking make you look good, because I'll just sing 4 off-key notes and everybody goes, Jesus Christ, we love fucking Fauntleroy. Get the fat guy out of the car. And everybody go, which one? They go, you know who we're talking about. And then they'll dump me by the side of the goddamn road. The producers of fucking Corden, they don't know what they got. You got me in there fucking wailing, busting out of tune. Baby, 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 you're out of time. Goddamn, that's a great song. All right, so, doom, 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 doom. It's whatever. All right, so, what if I just want to do Stone songs now. I can't do Beatles songs. I can't do them justice. But anyway, I love the Rolling Stones and I love the Beatles. But I went off the board for 50, Alex. My buddy's like, Beatles or Stones? Beatles or Stones? Beatles or Stones? I said, look, out of those two, I'm probably going to take the Beatles. And he's like, really? I wouldn't think that. And you seem like more of an aggressive guy, so that's more the Stones. They have more of an attitude. I go, yeah, but the Beatles are just happiness, man. They're pure fucking joy, which is amazing. But if you want my real opinion, I would probably go Zeppelin over the two of them. And the whole gym stopped and looked at me, and I'm like, yeah, I just would. And you know what? That's just a function of who I grew up with. I knew the Beatles and I loved them, and I knew the Stones and I loved them. My buddy Dennis loved the Stones. They're his favorite band of all time. But Zeppelin was played everywhere I went when I was a kid. It would be on the radio. We'd play it at fucking parties. It would be on the fucking booster bus, whatever the fuck. And it's that stuff that grew inside me. Physical Graffiti grew inside me. Fucking Thank You and Tangerine. All these fucking, you hear these songs that you forget about and you're like, God damn it, dude. They're just too good. And yes, I know Jimmy Page stole them all from a guy, 2 folk singers, and then again dumped their bodies into a ravine. I know nothing's original. Nobody's perfect. But at the same time, yeah. But then even their solo stuff, you hear like the Wings stuff with McCartney. Like, dude, Jet. How good is Jet? How great is Jet? And you look at fucking even Robert Plant's 2 solo albums. Goddamn, fucking Big Log. Is that the name of the song? I don't know. There's one song. Don't you know my goodness? Oh, I can't even do his voice because you can't do. You took a piece of my blue heart. Whatever the fuck. So I mean, but even the solo stuff resonates, man. And Jimmy Page went to the Firm. I mean, Paul Rodgers is a badass. If you want to fucking depress yourself, go listen to the Black Crowes album with Jimmy Page and just literally you should have just had, because it was at the Greek Theater. You could have had Jimmy Page just on top of the Greek Theater, on top of the band shell, and he could have just dropped his fucking guitar from a great height and gotten the same sound, because it is sloppy as fucking everything. I don't even know why I'm telling you all this stuff. How did I fucking get sidetracked? Because Paul McCartney is love. Paul McCartney is joy. Paul McCartney is beauty. Paul McCartney is all of these great things. And in this fucking carpool karaoke, they set it up. And I was disappointed that Corden told the audience it was Paul McCartney, because I think there would have been a bigger pop if he didn't tell them that. But then he pulls over and Paul gets in the car. And the thing is, normally I think it's a shorter segment, but it was almost a 25-minute segment. And in it, McCartney gets in the car. And they start, they play Beatles songs and they sing along with them. But then McCartney, they're driving through Liverpool. So McCartney's pointing out landmarks. He's going, I know where this is, and I grew up here. And they drive on Penny Lane. And there's a Penny Lane. And then they go to the sign for Penny Lane, and everybody signed it, and they put all their name on there, and the fucking McCartney signs it. And they're both like, and Corden's like, nobody's going to believe that that's your signature. And he's like, well, whatever. But, and so then, in Penny Lane, there's a line, on Penny Lane, there's a barber showing photographs of every head he's had the pleasure to have known. They go to a barber on Penny Lane. And the woman opens the door, and it's Paul McCartney. And I wish you could see me, but you'll perhaps, if you haven't seen the bit, maybe you'll get it from what I'm doing. Literally, she just goes, and she puts her hands over her face, and when she sees Paul McCartney, and just kind of freezes up, but also she smiles because she's so happy that she can't believe that this is happening, that he's shown up. And he's like, hello, love. And he comes in and he sits in the barber chair, and there's photos on the wall of him getting a haircut in like 1964. And she's just beaming. She's almost shaking. She can't believe, she's like shifting from foot to foot, and he's sitting there, and she's astonished that he's there. And then they leave. And then once they leave there's people outside, and people are starting to gather, and they know that it's Paul McCartney. And you start to see the effect that this guy has on people, and you start to see the magic that he brings probably wherever the fuck he goes. Because then he shows up there, and then he goes to his childhood home. And he's telling stories. Like, he tells the story of Let It Be. And again, perhaps you guys, your encyclopedic knowledge of the Beatles would crush mine, I'm sure. But he tells the story about how Let It Be, his mom was Mary. And truthfully, she said to him once when he was griping about something or was upset, and she said, Paul, let it be. And he was like, you know what, let it be. Yeah, you know what? And then he wrote the song, when she comes, Mother in times of trouble, Mother Mary comes to me, and speaking word. And that's a real story. It's a true story. It really happened. And he just put it in a song, which then became, probably. I'm opening myself up for argument here, but I would say that's the definitive Beatles song, or Hey Jude is the definitive Beatles song. Let It Be or Hey Jude. Probably Hey Jude, right? Because that was always number one. When I was a kid, they would always do this thing where they'd count down the 500 top rock songs of all time. And Hey Jude would always be number one. Stereo would be number two. Which brings up my Zeppelin argument. Would there be a Stone song at number three? Probably Satisfaction, right? You got to figure Satisfaction is that's the banner carrying song for the Stones. So you go with Stairway for fucking Zeppelin, and then you go with Hey Jude, because that was always number one. But Let It Be could also be up there. And now that I know the true story, because there's no Jude, fuck that. Although maybe there is. I'm sure McCartney's got a story about a Jude. He knew a Jude growing up, of course. But as this thing goes along, he's singing in the car, and then James Corden relates a story about his father, and then they sing a Beatles song, and James Corden just starts crying. And he says, I didn't think this was going to happen. And look, James Corden's enough of a fucking phony where you're like, I wonder if he fucking did this on purpose. But at the same time, he seemed genuinely emotional, and it seemed like a moment. But the best part of it is Paul McCartney handling it, because Paul McCartney is at turns gentle, but also expectant. Like, he understands. I'm sure every day people come up to him and they go, you have no idea how you've changed my life. You have no idea the happiness you've brought me. And he just nods and he says, yes, thank you. I appreciate it. He understands his place. That's very important to me. I heard David Letterman. All right, David Letterman is for me, he is my comedic idol. He was it. When I saw him, I couldn't believe it. It was so different and so strange. And this is even within the face of like Saturday Night Live and all these other things. When I watched David Letterman when I was in high school, I went, this is who I want to be. This is what I want to do. This is fucking incredible. Because I'd never seen it. He basically invented, I mean, I guess irony. Irony was always there, but he invented that eye-rolling sarcasm and like kind of, nothing matters. And to see somebody treat it like that was so great. He wasn't invested. He was just kind of like, yeah, whatever. He always arm's length everything, but he was so brilliant. I mean, Letterman was so goddamn brilliant. And then he would also savage you. And again, it's my turn to say this. I've said it a million times on this show. It's one of my favorite things of all time. He was on Bob Costas' later show, and it's just Bob Costas and David Letterman. And Costas is asking him a question. I can't even get it out. Costas asks him, Letterman's got a fucking cigar, and he's in a suit with the fucking tennis shoes. And Bob Costas goes, did you ever have a guest that really let you down? Somebody you expected to come on the air and just really crush it out of the park, and then they wound up just stiffing. There's a beat, and Letterman just goes, other than yourself? And Letterman starts laughing like to himself. He just starts chuckling, and then Costas laughs and he goes, it's those big fastballs you can't resist turning on and sending out over the wall out of the park. And Letterman's like, no, I apologize. I'm sorry. But he had to do it. He had to fucking hit him with it. It was so gorgeous. And that's why I loved Letterman. Like, he would do that to everybody. He would just fucking just savage them. But Letterman was on Howard Stern. This is 6 months ago, before the Netflix show, and he's being interviewed by Howard, and then Howard would tell him, "Do you know how you were so unbelievably influential in the world of comedy, in the world?" And Letterman would go, "Oh, stop." And Howard would go, no, seriously, you've changed the world. You've changed. Oh my God. You know what? Howard, if you keep it up, I'm going to walk right out of here. I'm just going to turn around. I'm going to turn heel and leave. And Howard finally, because he keeps this up for the whole 90-minute interview. He won't take a compliment. He won't acknowledge his place. He won't say that he's a titan. He won't ever just go, you know what? Yeah, you're right. What we did, I'm really proud of. And, it's humbling to know that people feel that way. Thank you. But I'm still I'm disquieted by any sort of praise. It's just something inside of me. Like, if he did anything like that, instead of deflecting constantly with like, no, I'm not important. I had a monkey show and it was nothing and nobody cared. He keeps doing that. And you're just listening and you're just getting so frustrated because you're like, dude, I love you. All right. But I really want to love you. You're pushing me away and making me not like you by doing this kind of thing. I want to like him. Let's put it this way. I love him, but I want to like him. That's a much better way to say it. I love David Letterman, but I want to like him. And he refuses to be liked. He instead, like I said, he will not take a compliment. He will not acknowledge that because he'll, anytime they'll say, you change comedy, he'll be like, nah, Jerry Seinfeld's a comedian. He's changing the world. He goes, I got a little show up there and we got a band and the band carries it and I do whatever I do. No, dude. You can be self-effacing to a certain point, but at some point you got to go, hey, I was on television for 40 years and I changed the landscape. I changed the way comedy was done. And quite frankly, I think that era of comedy is over now. I don't know if we're going to see it anymore because for myriad reasons, and I don't want to get into them here on the show because why would I do that? It's only a show where I talk about what I'm thinking. Dumb. But Letterman was a guy, he would not let you like him. He would not accept praise. He would not acknowledge who he was and the flag he had planted and how he had influenced his industry and hundreds of thousands of performers. And that's not even an exaggeration. Every failed comic at an open mic in the 90s and 80s owes a debt to Letterman. And the people who've burst through, they all owe a debt to Letterman. Seth Meyers, any of these late night dudes now who give you the arched eyebrow and get to be sarcastic and smirk or whatever the fuck, anybody who challenges a guest, anybody, that's because he didn't do that before. Johnny Carson was very passive and he'd let people do stuff, but Letterman was the guy who made the talk show host proactive instead of reactive. Like Carson and Parr and those guys would all engage in conversation, but they let the guest carry it. They would throw up T-balls and the guy would crush them into the stands. But Letterman he didn't want to play that game. And so he did it differently, and it was very evident that he was doing it differently, and it was amazing. It changed everything because now everybody kind of does it like that. Even though, like I said, I wonder if that style of comedy is even happening anymore. I don't know. I have no idea. In my apartment, it is. Oh my God, am I killing it? Woo-hoo-hoo! I'm all Letterman all the time here. And as a matter of fact, here are the top 10 reasons I'm all Letterman all the time in my goddamn apartment. But Letterman would do that, and he would just he would deflect. He would never accept one compliment. And he kept threatening to leave, and it was like, well, then you should leave. I mean, because if you're not willing to acknowledge exactly who you are and what you've done, you're just frustrating your fan base of people who've. And I know he doesn't even think he has a fan base, and he thinks it's silly to like him and whatever the fuck. But dude, you got to acknowledge it. Paul McCartney acknowledges it. James Corden is moved to tears by something that Paul McCartney created, and Paul McCartney just takes it in stride. He's gentle, and he basically says, "Oh well, this will happen," and he has to be like that because again, I'm sure everybody he fucking meets, whether it's superstars or people on the street, will walk up to him and say, you've changed my life. You influenced me in such a way, or you influenced somebody who influenced me. I mean, he's ground zero for a lot of things. And he's learned to accept it, and he's learned to just nod and smile and hug somebody if they want to hug or take a selfie. And he's very frail. I think he's 76 now, if I remember correctly. And he's just he needs to be wrapped in bubble wrap and saved. He needs to be treasured. He needs to be experienced and celebrated. And that clip, if you haven't seen it, you have to watch it because you see not only his great talent, not only the music and things like that. How good is fucking Uncle Albert, Admiral Halsey? How great is it? But Jet is phenomenal. Dude, fucking Band on the Run. Oh my Christ. Dude, and look, later on, did Wings go pussy on me? Yeah, probably. Did I lose touch with it? Is it not my thing? I mean, yeah. The Girl Is Mine, Say, those were hits, and I get that, but was it for me? No, because I like aggressive, I like that kind of stuff. But Jet is my childhood. I hear it, and and fucking Band on the Run. I remember being a little kid. I can remember hearing that driving through Chicago in a car my uncle gave my mom. It just brings you to a certain point in time. You hear those things and you celebrate them and you love them. And again, that's the thing I could tell Paul McCartney if I met him. Hey man, Band on the Run hits me in such a place, or even these Beatles songs, or Day in the Life, all of them. But everybody does that, and he's learned a way to deal with it. And in this clip, Corden, like I said, he starts to go to tears. They go to Penny Lane, and then they go to fucking McCartney's childhood house, and he tells stories about how they wrote "She Loves You." There, him and John are in that house, in this room, writing "She Loves You," and then they come out to tell his dad, and they go, hey, I'm going to spoil this. I'm sorry. If you haven't seen it yet, you'll go watch it, and I'm not really spoiling anything, because to hear it out of the charming Paul McCartney mouth defeats my mouth fucking straight sets. There's no doubt about it. But he says, yeah, we had "She Loves You," and we came out to my dad, and we said, oh, we've written a song. It's, "She loves you, yeah, yeah, yeah." And his dad said, too many of these American slang terms are coming over here. Why don't you say "she loves you"? Yes, yes, yes. And Corden's like, what, did you even consider it? He's like, no, I mean, of course not. We couldn't. And it's just, and by the way, when I say he went to his childhood home, he literally goes to his childhood home, knocks on the door, and this woman looks at him like, everybody when they see him, they just, because he's magic. He's joy in perfectly tailored clothes, but he's so easygoing, and you want to hug him, you want to love him, because not only was he important in what he did musically and sonically and all those things, but he's for a lot of people he's their childhood. For a lot of people he's a coming of age story. For everybody he means something different to everybody. And imagine the effect you have on the world if literally everyone of a certain age. I'm not gonna, there's no 16-year-old out there and I was like, oh, fucking grandpa. I get that. You fucking don't like McCartney. I don't blame you. But anybody, you figure anybody from 30 to 60, anybody walking the earth who's from 30 to 60 feels something when the Beatles come on and has a reference point where McCartney means something to them. And so in this clip, it was done so beautifully because, again, he winds up, as it continues, first it's just him and Corden, and then all of a sudden word gets out in Liverpool that McCartney's there, so people start following the vans and stuff, and every time they get out of the car, there's more people, and there's more people. When he walks out, he plays a piano in his childhood home, and then they go to leave, and he goes, hey, I don't know if we're going to be able to go out, and they look out the front door, and there's just... there's got to be 80 people on the fucking street with cell phones just waiting for him to walk out the goddamn door. And then he walks outside and people are waiting to hug him and talk to him and take photos with him. And he's very gentle with them. He understands, because that again, that's what I mean. He understands what they want from him. He understands who he is, and he understands his place. He understands how important the Beatles were or are, and so he's willing to accept that, and he takes it is a burden. He accepts the burden of having to go out and listen to everybody tell him their schmucky story of what happened the first time they ever heard Help. You know what I mean? And he's just like, yeah, oh, that's lovely, that's wonderful, nice to meet you. And as he's walking out of his childhood home, there's so many people that converge, and they want to take photos, and they want hugs, and they want to talk. And one guy's like, I named my son after you. And he finally has to say, we have to keep going, folks. We have to keep moving. We're sorry. We have a schedule to keep. All right. Well, thank you. But he's gentle, and he waves, and he's never pretentious or mean or get out of my way. And I'm sure someone will come along, a cynical, just be like, well, there are cameras, you can't be that way. And it's like, I don't think Paul McCartney's ever been angry in his life. Like, I mean, just watching it, I mean, I'm sure he's been sad, and he may have been perturbed, and he probably was upset with John for a while for some things. I call him John because we're friends. But man, and then it sent me down a YouTube hole where I wanted to see just old McCartney stuff. And you see, you know, I saw the old Saturday Night Lives where if you ever saw the one where Father Guido Sarducci was trying to get him on camera, and then he actually walked out to the camera. And you ever see the one where Lorne Michaels tried to offer the Beatles like $3,000 to reunite? And it turns out that fucking Paul and John were together that night, and they actually thought about going, but they were too tired to go down to the studio. But how hilarious would that have been? And then George Harrison shows up like 2 weeks later, and he's on camera. And again, the Beatles, they were these mythical figures. So that's why Saturday Night Live was cemented too, because it reached across the fucking, basically all the aisles for these rock stars who became friends with Lorne Michaels and hung the fuck out. I don't know why this has turned into a history lesson. You know, see, this is the kind of shit that's going to happen when we get my compound. We're all going to sit around the fire at night, and I will spin yarns and tales and tell you how important Paul McCartney was, and all of you will be going, you know what, man? I hate Paul McCartney. I don't like him, and I don't know why you're telling me about this. And I will challenge you on your face. There's no way you hate Paul McCartney. There's that. You can't. Because I'll tell you what, if you hate Paul McCartney, you know what? Get in the fucking barn. Get in the fucking barn and crowd surf with zombies, you fucking Jello Biafra wannabe motherfucker. Because you know what? If you tell me that Paul McCartney's not a treasure, if you tell me that Paul McCartney's not to be loved, if you tell me Paul McCartney doesn't mean anything to you or yours or your loved ones, well, I challenge you, sir. And you know what? You know what I say to you? You need help. you need somebody, not just anybody. You need someone to help. You guys can get me at MikeandMikeSchmidtComedy.com. This show went good. This is like a nothing show. This is like a talking show. But you know what? Because what the hell? Why not? Because there's no great lesson to bring, just from seeing McCartney. But I loved it. It was joyful, and it brought home to me the power of acknowledging who you are and what you've done, and letting people tell you that you are good or you mean something to them. Because and again, I hate to draw this to me, but fuck, it's my show and it's me. And I deflect all the time. People will be very nice. Like last week's show, people are like, and I'll just be like, yeah, I know people don't like those shows, but I went, that's horseshit. That's a disclaimer. Nobody doesn't like those shows. I've made up this construct in my head where people don't want to hear shows like that, or they don't want to hear me at all. And seeing that clip made me go, it's important to let people tell you how much you mean to them, because it means a lot to them to be able to tell you that. And I'm a guy who should know that. I was able to tell Eddie Van Halen how much he meant to me. I was able to meet him and tell him. I was able to tell Steve Vai how much his songs mean to me. I was able to tell him that. I was able to meet these people and tell them. I was able to meet Tarantino and tell him. And I was able to meet fucking Michael Madsen and tell him about his performances. And it meant a lot to me to share that with those people and tell them those things, and to have them acknowledge it and smile and say thank you. That's amazing. And you can do that. You can acknowledge who you are. You can accept compliments, and it's all a learning process, folks. And I know this spun off the fucking rails here because I tried to create an ending probably that isn't here, but it's the truth, and it's for you to think about too. Even if you're a teacher, you're a firefighter, you're a cop, or you're a scientist, you're a doctor, whatever. If someone comes to you and say, "Hey, man, you really helped me here," just nod and smile and say, "Thank you. I'm glad." Because we all have that thing inside ourselves where we're trained to be humble, I guess is the word. We're trained to deflect. We're trained to not accept praise and just move forward and never be satisfied. And it's okay. It's okay to take praise from people when they tell you did a good job. And I do it everywhere. It's so funny. I try to I wouldn't even call it spreading joy, but I try to do my best to, even if I'm at a grocery store or in a drive-thru or something, I'll go, hey, is there a manager here? And the manager will come over and I go, hey, she was great. She did a really good job. And I recognize it's just some bullshit grocery store job, but it means something to people, man. And this is important now, especially because it is just this boiling ocean of incivility out there, of people just staring at one another and eyeing the other and being angry and mad and sad and furious. And like I said, this country runs on hate now. It's like a big fucking ocean liner, and there's just underneath steerage, there's a bunch of people shoveling hate coals into a raging fire, and it's burning everybody up. And that's why I pine for these days where we could just go disappear. You know, there was a reason when I would talk about, you know, when I was dating Jill, I was like, the thing I love the most is just sitting in the quiet and hearing a train whistle. And because it was those moments of quiet when love was evident, or when you could be at your most relaxed. And you know, granted, part of it was that she was asleep and I know I wasn't going to fucking fight with her. So that came up. But I loved those moments. Because I knew she wouldn't be upset with me if she was asleep. It's the total truth. I've talked about it a million times. But just to sit there and feel a breeze. I mean, I do it here at my house. I'll go sit at the pool at fucking 3 a.m. and just listen to stillness. It's so important to me. It's just, I just want to revel in it. And do I want to go and tell stories and go places and do things and travel? Yeah, I want to do all those things, of course. But then I I don't know if I'm aging out of wanderlust or whatever the fuck, even though I want to travel, I want to go everywhere. I'd love to go all sorts of different places. Like I said, I want to move to Japan. I want to move to Canada. I want to fucking move. But there's also something to be said for just quiet. There's just something to be said for no ripples, no waves, just a fucking calm, still surface and just reveling in it. And there's something to be said for acknowledging when people care about you and for when people tell you they like you or they love you or that you've done something good for them. And like I said, whether you're a cop or a doctor, and we can all do that. You can reach out and be good to anybody. Jesus Christ, this fucking kumbaya bullshit, man. I mean, last week I'm yelling and screaming, and this week I'm just like, hey, man, like I said, smile on your brother. Let's all be together. Let's try to love one another right now. Shut the fuck up, man. Nobody cares about you and your fucking Good Morning Vietnam soundtrack bullshit, right? I don't know. I don't know. But I mean these things I'm saying, even if as I say them, they sound silly to me. I said it last week. I've said it a bunch of times. Just be fucking cool. Be cool to everybody. Be cool to people you meet. Be cool to anyone you know, because it's just getting worse, and it's just going to get worse. And so let's have a fucking tight community of people who just decide to be cool. And if that doesn't work, like I said, let's go get a fucking patch of land. We'll build one cabin and we'll fucking sit around a fire pit and tell stories about how great things could have been. And I'm in. I'm fucking in, man. We'll get John and Ken and whoever the fuck else is up there in Canada to scout out some property. And let's make it happen. Let's just get up there. We'll grow sage and rosemary. We'll fight off the zombies. And we just got to fucking draw straws to see who our Shane is to shoot a little girl in the fucking head. You guys can get me at mike@MikeSchmidtComedy.com. You guys can be my friend at Facebook.com/the40-year-old-boy. You can follow me at Twitter.com/the40-year-old-boy. I'm there sending out bite-sized nuggets of knowledge in 280 characters or less. And also, I don't know if you know this, I'm on Snapchat and the other one, Instagram. Fuck Snapchat. Well, not really. I mean, Snapchat, I'm still there lurking, but I'm on Instagram, and that's the best. I think Instagram is probably the best of all of these because you just put up photos, and there's not a lot of room for editorializing. You don't have to read people just going, this sucks, which is Twitter and Facebook, and then Snapchat, which is just a drive-by, someone sending you a photo of a cat, which is okay. Snapchat's okay, but it disappears. I don't care for the format. But Instagram I like. But I'm on Instagram and Snapchat, Mike40YOB. That's Mike40YOB. Add me as your friend. Please, on Snapchat and Instagram or whatever the fuck, send me photos, send me notes, send me things. My correspondence is going to be great going forward. It's going to be fantastic. Ryan Dirks does all the web stuff for this show. He's the coolest. You can find him at Facebook.com/Ryan Dirks and be his friend. Giovanni Giorgio Peluso is he's the mastermind behind this show. That seems strong, but he's still out there. And you can get him at Facebook.com/Giovanni Giorgio Peluso. He is stepping up and taking care of business. He handled our YouTube page. He wound up building it, and he updates it all the goddamn time. He's coaching me on all sorts of other stuff regarding streaming and things like that. And I hope we'll see, because I need it. I need the help. But he's there. He says he's going to be there to help me, and so I'm holding him to that. But you can go ahead and listen to his podcasts. He's got the Get It On Geo podcast that's out there. And he's also got the Outdoors FAQ podcast. And he does all the Loveline stuff, man. And if you want to hear, if you're thinking to yourself, man, I got to think about the time that Dr. Drew told that lady not to put stuff in her butt. Well, then Geo's your guy. He's got all those videos and recordings. He's putting them up. If you're thinking to yourself, man, I got to find that recording of the time Adam Carolla told that lady to put stuff in her butt. Well, then I'll tell you what, Geo's got the answer, man. He's got it all logged and indexed because inside his head right now at all times, there's a monkey playing cymbals and then there's 4 people just chanting, hey, Adam Carolla told that lady to put stuff in her butt. If you ever need to know when Adam Carolla told a lady to put stuff in her butt, he has an encyclopedic knowledge of that. Geo, he knows whenever Adam Carolla told anybody to put anything in their butt. That's what he does. He's dedicated his life to it. So please find him at facebook.com/Giovanni Giorgio Peluso and find all the Loveline podcasts, his podcasts, the Get It On podcast. All of them are out there for your perusal and your naked steaming ears. David Hernandez does all of the artwork for this show, all of the music for this show, all of the other cool stuff for this show. You can find him at facebook.com/David Mex Hernandez and be his friend, please. Invite him to be your pal, and you'll see all the cool stuff he posts on Facebook. A lot of memes with his face in it, and a lot of memes with his dog's face in it. He enjoys those selfie memes, and he puts them up there for you to check them out. So be his friend so you can see them. Why not? And also, here's the real important thing. If you're thinking to yourself, well, these photographs are cool, and these photographs of his dog are cool, this guy's got an artist's eye. I can tell you he certainly does. And you want proof of that? You can go to artbydmh.com. That's ARTBYDMH.com. And our friend David Hernandez is painting. He's doing all sorts of things. He's putting up all sorts of things for sale. He's got Valcons. Nope. He's got Valscapes. He's got Valscapes. He's got Guycons. He's got all sorts of paintings he's done of heroes past and present. You can go to his website, artbydmh.com, and peruse them. He's got all these existing paintings that he will sell. Also, but the most important thing, look, you can buy existing paintings from him all day long. However, if you've got something you want specifically, if you think to yourself, you know what, I'd love a photo of Shane, or not a photo, but a painting of Shane putting a bullet in a little girl's head, boom, David Hernandez can paint it for you with a lot of reds and a lot of varying yellows, I would imagine. If you want to have a barn full of zombies, just if you want to say, hey, you know what, do me a favor, paint me a barn full of death, he can do that for you. Like I said, everybody's on the porch talking about peaches and rice in the background, but in the foreground, there's the barn of death, teeming with flesh eaters just waiting to come out and go for your jugular, including a little girl crowd surfing off the loft. They were having a fucking mosh pit in there, a zombie mosh pit. He will paint that. If you know what? If you want a zombie mosh pit, Mex can paint that. He does all of the cool ass things that you can think. If you can think it, he can paint it. And he will for the right funds. But you need to go to artbydmh.com and find him there and get him on board to do whatever the fuck you want him to do. If you want to go ahead and buy an existing piece, that's great. But if you want a new piece, you can go ahead and contact him and he'll do it. That's artbydmh.com, ARTBYDMH.com.
The rumors are true. On Thursday, July 26th, the 40-year-old boy will celebrate its 10-year anniversary with a production that will eclipse all previous interludes combined. This year, we are combining 2 of Mex's favorite things, Broadway plays and religion. The 40-Year-Old Boy podcast, in conjunction with Mexi Park Productions, is proud to present the rock opera Schmitty Christ Superstar, performed by the 40-Year-Old Boy Players, starring Schmitty, Mex, the Soup Robot, Thorgar and Yeep, Superfan Geo, Glory Hole Guy, and a special appearance from a soon-to-be-named deceased singer. Schmitty Christ Superstar. Is Mike's podcast timeless? We shall let ancient Jerusalem decide.
I guess what I'm trying to say is civility and kindness matter. So let's all engage in those on a daily basis, huh? All right? Let's all be McCartney. Let's all be sharks. Let's all, be McSharkney. Remember I said be a shark and just move forward, and be McCartney and be kind and gentle and civil? Then let's just be fucking Paul McSharkney. Sharkney, can pronounce the T. Fuck. I had something there. I thought for a second. It just fell apart right at the end. Folks, want to remind you, folks, about, that's right, a tease, not a Monday night tease, a Tuesday night tease Our great friend Lily Von Stupp is back in the production game, the producing game, Tuesday, July 3rd at 8:30 at the Three Clubs, not Three of Clubs, the Three Clubs. It's been so long since I've plugged it. The Three Clubs on Vine at Santa Monica with the TNTs, which I fucking, again, Lily's great because she always comes up with great fucking names. Monday Night Tees is a great name, but TNTs is perfect because it's got the dynamite connotation. It's got the Tuesday Night TN, Tuesday Night Tees, TNTs. It's just, folks, it's a great name. So you would want to go and see ladies take off their clothes and see vulvas flying at you in 3D. It's going to be an amazing show. July 3rd at the Three Clubs on Vine at Santa Monica. TNTs, 8:30 p.m., hosted and produced by our great friend Lily Von Stupp. She's going to get off her couch and she's going to get her ancient, decrepit hip, body, neck, fucking eye, everything else. She's going to put it to good use. She's going to put it to work and get out there and fucking host an amazing show. So please, tickets available on brownpapertickets.com for TNTs, July 3rd, 8:30 p.m. at the Brown Paper Tickets. I'm sorry, at the, Jesus Christ, at the Three Clubs on Vine in Santa Monica. On Vine at Santa Monica. What? See, it's been so long since I've plugged, certainly that I wind up just fucking stepping on my dick through the entire goddamn thing. But you know what I'm talking about. Just go to fucking Brown Paper Tickets and put it in Lily Von Stupp. And the show will come up and you'll buy a ticket and go and have a good time and everybody will be happy. And I'll be in Scotland before ye. So folks, that's available. Go ahead and check that out. It's going to be great. Lots of plugs to bring to you. Wait, I should have brought, wait, all my plugs are over here. Hold on, I got to go ahead and grab them because they're oh, I think you just heard there was my Bluetooth speaker was on top of my plugs. That's no good. And then they just all fell right there, as a matter of fact. Folks, first of all, let's talk about this. Did you know that there's a Cameo app? I think you did know that. And you know who really knows that? Oh, that was my phone making a noise in the middle of everything. Thank you. It's The Athletic alerting me to something. Dude, the Phillies beat the Yankees. All right, that's big news. Because the Yankees have been fucking stomping a goddamn mud hole in the Phillies the last 2 days. But finally, the Phillies wind up with a win. 3-0. That's a shutout, folks. That's what I call that. The Cameo app exists, and you can go ahead and get me to do a cameo, as our friend Megan learned just the other day because I did a cameo for her 7th anniversary. Now, here's the best part. I got an email, and it's like, hey, man, could you do a cameo for my wife, Megan? We live in Portland, and it had all this information about them, and so I said, fantastic. So I do this cameo. Here's the thing. I don't have the first fucking clue who it's from. Like, I got no idea. It literally didn't have a person's name attached to it. So it was an anonymous person who's married to somebody named Megan who said, please do a cameo for my wife for her anniversary. And I said, well, fantastic. And I did it. And I think half the time I talked about the fact that I didn't know who had sent this. So it might have been a weird, because now that I think about it, dude, that might have been a weird stalker of Megan's. Like a weird fucking secret admirer who just went ahead and got a cameo to pretend it was their anniversary. Like maybe he saw her on a train 7 years ago and now he's pretending that they're married. Oh, and there's nothing wrong with it because I always say this, let's pretend we're married and go all night. However, I don't think that Megan wants to go all night with the guy from the subway train 7 goddamn years ago. And then he buys a cameo from a fucking, half unknown podcaster who goes ahead and says, hi, Megan, happy anniversary. Happy anniversary, happy anniversary, happy anniversary. That's what I would say over and over and over. So Cameo exists. If you want to be like Megan or you want to be like the creep from the train and you want me to send a note to somebody you met once, find me on the Cameo app and pay for it. And I'll be happy to shout into a phone and I got to find a new place to do it because I keep doing it in front of my Mr. Blonde poster. And then I'm like, nah, people don't want to see that all the time. So I got to shake it up. Might be in the car, might be at the beach, might be outside. Who knows where your Cameo will come from, but hire me and you'll get one. That'll be the best. We got a Patreon page. That's important. Our Patreon page is great, and we've lost some people this week, and I thank you. I will send you notes because I saw people who had to cancel their donations to Patreon, and it was nice of them to stay as long as they did, but thank you, and I will send you a note to thank you for your participation and for the, some people lowered their donations, some people canceled their donations. I don't know if it was in response to politics. It may have been. I don't know, but I thank you for supporting me as long as you did. I will send you a note that says the same exact thing. Because if you're canceling that, you're probably not listening. So I'll just go ahead and say that you're not hearing this. So I'll send you an email so you'll get a more tangible note. You'll find out what's happening. But Patreon's out there, man. If you want to go ahead and donate to the Patreon, I would love it. It would make me very happy. And it would advance my goals of world domination. It would advance my goals of buying a plot of land in Canada / the UP and just hiding from everybody. Carving out a Schmidtlicia, a Schmidtilicia, Schmidtilicia. That sounds weird. That sounds like a fucking weird burlesque, like Schmidtilicia sounds like a fucking weird dancer who gets naked. So, fuck, idiot. Patreon exists. I'm not an idiot. I lost it there for a second. I see, you got to be kind to yourself. You can't poison yourself with negative words. Patreon exists. Please be a Patreon supporter. I'd appreciate it very much. And so would you. You'd love it, I bet. I'll bet you'd love it in the long run. You know that I'm going to be in live places? I am. Well, I'll get to that in a minute. First of all, let's talk about fucking MikeSchmidtComedy.com. That exists. That's pretty cool. If you want to go into MikeSchmidtComedy.com, we got the Joe Business page. We got stuff for sale on there now. And I'll tell you what, go visit the website the way it looks now. It's going to be changing soon. That's all I'm going to tell you. But right now on the Joe Business page, we got stuff for sale. There's all sorts of things you can pick up still, like download sets and things like that. But most importantly, there's the Amazon link there on the Joe Business page. If you click through that and you buy some stuff on Amazon, we get money, they get money, you get stuff. It's a perfect arrangement. It costs you nothing extra, just a click. It costs you a thumb callus. That's it. If you want to support this show and just give yourself a thumb callus, you can just click, click, click right on there, goddammit. You can click, click, boom for all I fucking care. But do that because we get a taste. We get money, they get money, you get stuff. It works out perfectly over there if you use the Amazon link on the Joe Business page at MikeSchmidtComedy.com. Click through, shop, buy, we get credit. Everybody's happy. We're all smiling and we're clapping our hands on each other's backs and we're enjoying drinks and staring out at the poor as they fight in the streets and we revel in our Amazon profits and products. Ah, damn, that's a great time to be alive. Part of that's not true. Although I've been told it's funny, I will tell you this fearful Jesuit of the podcast, The Paranoid Strain, continues to write me and tell me, the world is better now than it's ever been. And he's on a meta level. He's not dealing with politics or any of that bullshit. But here's the thing that makes me laugh. He's like, dude, I'm sending you a book. So he sent me a book, and it was an audio book. So I'm never going to hear it because audio books are creepy, and I like to read books. But he sent me an audiobook, which was nice of him, and I appreciate that very much. He's like, listen to it in the car when you're down and you're thinking everything is terrible. But the thing is, look, by the way, I'm talking out of my ass here because I haven't listened to one word of this thing. I've only had this pep talk from Fearful Jesuit. And he's like, hey, man, you got to realize that, right now we're in a golden age of like technology and things like this, and the world is better than it's ever been. And the operating premise from the people who wrote this book are basically like, hey, man, they used to put red hot pokers up your ass for believing in the wrong God. Things are great now. Like that sort of thing. Like, hey, the Black Plague has been cured. Everything's fine. They always find this huge example from the 1600s that doesn't exist anymore. It's like, man, there's more clean water and better food for everybody. You can go any restaurant you want, And look, I'm having a little fun here. I'm sure it's a little more in depth than that, but that's what it seems like to me whenever Jesuit contacts me. He's like, dude, you got to listen to that book. Seriously, I know you're down on the world and stuff, but there's never been less violence. There's never been less war. If you look at the history of the world, I'm like, well, yeah, if you're talking about cavemen bashing fucking saber-toothed tigers in the head with a fucking stone hatchet, yeah, that sucked. If you could walk out of your cave and get bitten by fucking giant ferrets or whatever the fuck, yeah, that's a terrible thing. If you were talking about the Spanish Inquisition showing up at your goddamn house and throwing you in an Iron Maiden because you're drinking the wrong wine, yeah, that's fucked. But still, I live now. I didn't live back then. Like if I'm fucking Lestat and I'm like, you know what, man, you guys don't have any idea how fucking good you got it. Because when I was in 1600s France, one time the Three Musketeers showed up and they brought their conquistador swords and they jabbed them all into my kidney just because it was funny. And then you're like, well, fuck, the 1600s sucked. Your shitty time. Yeah, there was this story about the Aztecs, and they created like a diarrhea centrifuge. And what they would do is they would feed people bad meat, so then they had to have diarrhea really badly, and they would put a hose in their ass, and then they would put the other end of the hose in their mouth. So then when they would expel the rotten, poisonous meat, it would go through the hose back down their throat, creating a centrifuge of waste that would eventually kill them because they were poisoning themselves with their own fucking waste materials. And I'm like, yeah, that sounds awful. But at the same time, I don't know if you've heard, Trump owns the Supreme Court now. That's essentially like the legal version of the diarrhea centrifuge created by the Aztecs or the Incas, whoever the fuck thought that up. And there's a good chance, by the way, I'm going to give the Aztecs and the Incas the day off here. That could be a creation of my own fucking memory. Like maybe fuck Torquemada. I mean, I can think of some horrible shit right now. But go read, Jesuits like, go read about Bosnia and Herzegovina and all the terrible shit they went through. And I'm like, yeah, but I never thought I'd have to go through that. You know what I mean? I live in my house where I can turn on the TV and watch people make pies for competition. I mean, that's fucking great. I'm watching people make salads for speed, and I didn't have to worry about the fucking country falling apart. Everything was fine. I could watch a wedding cake contest that's gayer than 4 cocks in your mouth. And yet at the same fucking time, I'm supposed to go, well, everything's falling apart, but at least I can turn this on and watch fucking Tara Lipinski and Johnny Weir do pirouettes while 25 gay people roll around in fondant. But it doesn't matter. You think what you think. And I know Jesuits reached out and he's trying to help me and I appreciate it. And now I've talked myself in a circle. I don't know what the fuck I'm talking about here. Anyway, the bottom line is go to the website, go to Amazon. We get money, they get money, you get stuff. It works out perfectly. I'm touring. Touring's a strong word. I'm going to a couple of cities. Hey man, buy some Cincinnati tickets. I'm there next week, and I'll get into that in a second. All right, first of all, I'm in Seattle. Let's talk about that really quick. Seattle is in August 9th, Thursday night, August 11th, Saturday night, the Jewel Box at the Rendezvous. Tickets are on sale now to see me and Graham Elwood do Political Vigilante on Thursday, August 9th, and then a storytelling stand-up show on Saturday, August 11th. I would love if you come to both because I'll be doing different material at both shows. If you can come out, that'd be fantastic, and Graham would love it. I talked to Graham this week. He's looking to promote it. We're trying to do everything we can to scare up. I reached out to The Stranger, which is a paper in Seattle. I've not heard back. But yeah, man, so we'll be at the Jewel Box at the Rendezvous, Seattle, Thursday night, August 9th, Saturday night, August 11th, 2 nights, man. I'll be in town for 4 days as well. Going to Pearl Jam a couple of days, doing shows the other nights, and then it's going to be a fantastic time up in Seattle. I've already heard from Hoove. I don't think Hoove can be there, by our friend Paul Cheever. Hoove, the Chibacabra. He will not be there, Chibacabra. He can't make it. But hopefully he will be there in spirit, folks, haunting the halls. Because we love the Hoove, right? The Hoove's the best. So please buy tickets for Seattle. Tickets are available at brownpapertickets.com right now. Go to Seattle or go to there and buy tickets for Seattle. The Jewel Box at the Rendezvous, Thursday night, Political Vigilante, Saturday night, stand-up and storytelling, and it's going to be great. It's going to be so fun. Let's talk about Cincinnati, folks. Did you know I'm going to be there next week? That's right, fucking next week. Literally a week from this coming Saturday. That's 10 days I will be there. July 7th. I'll be in Cincinnati. Now, you're wondering where I'm going to be. Well, let's talk about that, folks. Let's go ahead and do this. It's never easy being me, being a performer, booking these black box theaters and coming to towns to entertain you. The least you could do is buy tickets when I do this and make the effort, and here's why. When I come to your cities, inevitably there's always somebody who upsets the apple cart and things get turned askew, and then I find out the wrong thing happened at the wrong time, and who knows what the fuck's going to happen now? Well, our friend Colette, who reached out to me for the Cincinnati trip and was really just a wonderful person and is doing everything she can to help me. She's the one who wanted me to get involved with the Spartan Sprints. She's involved with an improv group there, and this is their theater, and I mean, she's been my absolute unbelievable irreplaceable ears and eyes on the ground in Cincinnati, and she's been helping me out promoting the show. She's so great. And that's why I need to apologize to her on the air right now. Because as you know, if somebody's great to me, it's only a matter of time until I fucking bite their jugular vein and watch them bleed out on the goddamn ground at my feet. Because they tried to do me a favor, because you know what, folks? You knew I was a scorpion. Colette has been wonderful, and she called me the other day, and she's like, hey, how's it going? I said, I'm good. And she goes, well, you might not be after I tell you this. I don't know. And that's always, look, I'm as a guy who's always got a jaundiced eye toward whatever the fuck is happening. Please know that that's not the good way to enter a conversation, or at least open a conversation. And I know what she meant. She's, we're friends and stuff, but you know me, I'm always waiting for that other shoe. It's poised above my head like the shoe of Damocles, waiting to fall down on my head. Lady, you must be psychic. That's actually from the Three Stooges. There's a pie above Moe's head, and this woman is like one of those like rich people in the Three Stooges. Remember that? Oh dear sir, you're so interesting. These boys, those like weird women, like Margaret fucking Dumont. Margaret Dumont, is that her name from the Marx Brothers? Well, Well, the Three Stooges would have somebody like that. So they'd be at a party, and there'd always be some rich chick who'd come over, and some bullshit would be happening, but she wouldn't notice it, and then a bad thing would happen to her because of the Stooges. So one time Mo is there, and there's someone I think Curly threw a pie. I'm sorry, I apologize. He was going to eat the pie like a hobo. Like he was like, and he had it in front of his mouth, and he was going to eat it like, because they're supposed to be at a high society party. Well, Mo's going to eat this fucking this pie. He's going to plunge his mouth into it like a fucking animal. So then this rich woman comes walking over to go, oh, excuse me, sir. And he literally throws the pie in the air and it sticks to the ceiling. Of course, because that often happens with your stickiest pies. You serve only the stickiest pies at your high society gatherings. So Mo's chatting with her. And he's fucking nervous because the pie's above his head, and she's like, sir, you must tell me all about your company, or whatever the fuck. She's engaging him in rich people talk because she thinks because he's there, he must be a rich dude, or he's an interesting guy, and he's just fucking Mo. I mean, he's trying to eat pie like a hobo and slap a bald guy in the head. That's all fucking Mo wants to do with his time. He wants to yank the porcupine's hair, he wants to poke the bald guy in the eyes, and he wants to eat pie like a hobo. Just give him a fucking break, lady. Go be rich somewhere else. But instead, Mo has to sit there and go through her bullshit. Meanwhile, there's a pie, the stickiest pie of all sticky pies, on the ceiling, but it's starting to droop because, look, I don't care how sticky your pie is. Your ceilings are not going to support a sticky pie all goddamn day. So Mo's talking to this fucking woman. She's being all rich and blousy, and Mo's just trying to get the fuck out of there because he knows that a fucking pie is about to come crashing down on his head. He looks up, the pie's starting to hang. It's starting to hang from sticky frosting, and finally the lady goes, well, sir, you appear as if the sword of Damocles is dangling over your head. And then Mo gives one more look to the ceiling, which she apparently doesn't catch because she's rich and completely out of touch. She doesn't realize that Mo looks up in the air, and then he goes, lady, you must be psychic. And then he runs off. And the woman goes, I wonder what got into that man. And then she looks up, and the pie falls down and, of course, splats her right in the rich people's face. And then she's like, sir. And then she throws a pie, and then a huge pie fight starts up because that's the Three Stooges do. They will corrupt your rich party with a pastry battle anytime they choose. All right, so choose. So Colette calls me. Why? I don't know why. How did we get into the Stooges? Oh, sort of Damocles, that's why. So so Colette calls me and she's like, hey, so here's the news. I just talked to some people over at the Clifton Performance Theater, where I'm scheduled to be on Saturday, July 7th. And she says they have no record of your show on the dais, on the schedule. And I let that sink in for like 5 seconds. And then for 10 seconds. And I go, seriously? And she goes, yeah, I talked to some people over there. They don't have any record of your show. Like I said, so now I go, I confirmed it. She goes, well, I know you did. I go, no, I fucking confirmed it through email. This is ridiculous. There's no way they couldn't have it. I mean, they fucked this up. And I mean, this was in March. And she goes, I know, Mike, don't worry about it. We're going to take care of it. And then, I screamed fuck as loud as I could. Like literally, she's on a speakerphone and I screamed fuck loud enough to where it probably broke her windshield. And I threw a tantrum. I'm not going to lie to you. I was pissed. And I mean, there's no reason fucking Colette needs to deal with that. She's done nothing but be good to me and try to reach out and try to help me. And she talks me down off the fucking ledge. But I mean, literally, I lose my mind. And I'm like, I got people coming in from fucking Canada for this show. You know I'm going to have to refund their airfare? If people come in from fucking Canada and there's no fucking show, I got to give them their ticket money back. I got to give them their airfare because I'm fucking guilty of making them come out here for no fucking reason. It looks like false pretenses. She's like, Mike, you got to calm down. I go, no, this is bullshit. I go, it always fucking happens. You know what? I try to put together a fucking show. I don't get out on the road enough. I go, what, once or twice a fucking year, maybe once a year. And of course, I step on my dick even booking that. I fuck this up and I fuck up people from Canada. And she's like, Mike, you gotta calm down. It's fine. We'll fix it. We'll get it fixed. They're saying that you never called back to confirm. And I said, no, I absolutely have it. So I look it up in my email. And I have an email in March, and I said, hey, this is all agreeable. I want to lock down that Saturday date, July 7th. And then I wrote a whole paragraph about tech stuff and what I needed and everything like that. And then I looked, and the next day I received an email from the woman at the theater, and she said, you know what, yeah, the tech stuff, and she reiterated a lot of the tech stuff. And literally at the end of the email, and I guess I didn't notice this, so maybe this is on me, but in my email I said, I want to lock down the date for sure on that Saturday. Yeah, let's lock it down. But then in her email, she says, let me know what you want to do. And I didn't reply to that because I'd already let her know what I wanted to do in the previous email. I mean, I guess I just didn't pick up on the language or something because I like I said, I want to lock down that date. And she wrote me back about the tech stuff, answering those questions. But then she wrote, let me know what you want to do. But I'd already said that I wanted to fucking do the goddamn date. I locked it down, motherfuckers. But she took my not replying to let me know what you want to do as me not wanting to do the show. So I was not on the schedule. So I was talking to Colette, and our conversation lasted about 5 minutes. And I said, I'm calling over there. It's because there's a 3-hour fucking time difference. Like, I'll call them right now. She's like, yeah, you should. You need to talk to them like right now, like immediately. So I called, and I didn't get the woman I dealt with via email, but I got another woman on the phone, and I said, look, and I was revving still. I wasn't swearing, but I was talking quickly. And then I took a breath and I go, look, I apologize, but I've thought I've been scheduled for the last 3 months, and I just found out that I'm not. So I'm a little. I've been selling tickets. I have people coming in from out of the country. I go, I just kind of need to know what's happening here. So she goes, yeah, no, I'm sure it was just, I go, I'm sure we just talked past one another. But I sent an email saying that I wanted to, go ahead and get the date, and I was locking it down. And she goes, well, I know we keep meticulous records. I'll take a look at it, but right now she's not available, and I'll have to look, and then I'll call you in the morning. And she was very cooperative and very nice, and she was terrific. So I then, texted Colette back. I'm like, I called Colette back, and I said, look, I talked to them. Everything seems to be, at least in motion. They're going to talk to one another and figure it out. She goes, well, don't worry about it. We're going to get this straightened out. I'm like, I have to worry about it. That's what I do. That's who I am. I'm going to worry about it until it's official. She's like, well, don't worry. I'll talk to this guy and we'll figure this out. And Colette, again, she's the smart one, because again, I owe her an apology. So, hey, Colette, I'm sorry. I know I apologized on the phone already, but there's no reason you should have to fucking catch the brunt of me revving and having a fucking tantrum. But at the same time, it was just another thing where it was like, I went into a shame spiral. I won't lie. I'm like, great, I failed at this. I booked a fucking thing, and then people are coming out of town, and I fucked this up. But I didn't fuck it up. But it's that thing where there's that thing inside me that lends itself to think that I'm less than, or I failed. So it came out in a huge burst over the phone for Colette. So I apologize, Colette. And then I received an email today, and the email said July 7th. It said, hey, it turns out, yeah, you're not on the schedule, so we're going to move you to our other space. We have another space that you can go ahead and perform at, and we won't charge you anymore because it's, da-da-da. And so that came, and I was like, all right, I guess so, whatever, because I don't have a written agreement, and I'm not, a huge performer, so I can't go, oh, bullshit. And like I said, I just want to do the fucking show. I wouldn't give a fuck if we got a flatbed truck or we did it in fucking Colette's yard. I just want to do a goddamn show. People are coming in to see a show. So I took a screenshot and I sent it to Colette, and I'm like, hey, this is what I received, so it looks like we're doing it in the other building. And Colette, I was driving, so I couldn't answer right away, but she sends me a note, and it just says, no, fuck that. No, you can't do that. That space is too big, and it's not ready for a show. It needs lights. It needs this. We're doing it in the other theater. I'm making sure of it right now. I'm making phone calls, and I'm like, whoa, whoa, whoa. Look at fucking Colette. Look at you go. Look at you go. And she rampaged, and within 20 minutes, I'd received a series of texts of her going, no, fuck that. She even said, I think she said, Mama Grizzly's pissed. And then she wrote me back and she goes, it's all square. You're in the theater. It's fine. And I wrote her back. I go, look, I don't want to deal with them being upset with me, and I don't want people to be. She goes, you paid for the space. Why would they be upset with you? And I go, yeah, but because right now ticket sales aren't exactly the strongest, and I don't want them to go, oh, well, we should have put him in the other room, and then they're going to be, why was he bitching about this for, because again, it's me again, diminishing who I am and what I do, and I'm like, yeah, I don't want them to be like, well, this guy, he's a nobody, and he's going to fight with us. And she goes, you paid for the spot. Don't worry about it. It's going to be fine. And we're still working on tickets. And she, once again, very nicely talked me down via text. So, Cincinnati, July 7th. If you want to make me feel better about myself and my life, and you want to reward Colette for her hard fucking work, buy tickets for me in Cincinnati at the Clifton Performance Theater next Saturday. Tickets are available at brownpapertickets.com. The show's at 7:30. It's going to be fucking fun and amazing, and afterwards we'll hang out and have a good time before I got to leave at 6 in the morning on the plane to Chicago. But Cincinnati, Clifton Performance Theater, I will be there, live bees in the Queen City, next Saturday, July 7th. And tickets are on sale now at Brown Paper Tickets. And get some tickets, man. Just do it. Just so, as I've talked about, I would love for people to just buy tickets to come see me and be funny. But now I'm like, let's buy tickets again to rub their face in it. Just like we did for Toronto. Let's rub people's face in it. Let's go ahead and sell some tickets so they have to go, oh, well, this guy actually sold some tickets. Isn't that sad? That's not a good thing to be as a performer, telling people to buy tickets just so we can go ahead and, yeah, see, I could sell a ticket. That's who I am. You don't have to care about the quality of the show. You don't have to come out and care about seeing me on stage. Just buy it for spite. That's all you got to do. Buy a ticket to this show for spite. despite the people who are going to move me to a different theater, despite the people who can't make a note in their notebook, despite the people who've been very professional and very terrific and wonderful and sent me perfect emails and everything's been great. I don't want to rip them. I'm having a good time. We're all having fun because it's a comedy show. But at the same time, still buy a ticket despite them, man. And I don't even care if you come to the show. That's a lie. I need people there to laugh because I'm going to be doing jokes after running the goddamn Spartan sprint that day and ready to fall apart. I'm worried, folks. I'm not going to lie to you. And I'll talk to you more about next week because next week's show will be recorded in Cincinnati. I will come to you live from Cincinnati, the show. I don't know how many people will be there listening. Might be just one. Might be just me and Colette in a room. Or maybe not. Maybe Colette, now she doesn't mind after she got yelled at on the goddamn cell phone. She's probably out next week. I need some, you know what? If you're in Cincinnati, please come listen to me record next week, next Tuesday. Just go ahead and show up and I'll talk and I'll fucking talk in circles and you'll love it. It'll be fantastic. You don't even have to buy a ticket for the show in Cincinnati on Saturday night. If you show up on Tuesday and listen to me do a podcast, everybody who wants to gather up and see me do a podcast in Cincinnati, go ahead and step up to the plate, goddammit. We'll go to Colette's house. We'll go to her yard. We'll be in a basement somewhere. We'll do it in my fucking Airbnb. I don't care. Let's just get together because I'm doing the show there and then I'm doing a show Saturday. And in between, I'm doing a Spartan sprint that's going to fucking kill me. And I'm going to cough up my fucking lungs and my heart.
There's nothing lonelier than being trapped inside yourself. It's easier to hide when you pretend yours unknifed. Women love a guy with a giant neck.
We here, we are playing on a level that most will never see.